Community service is not an event, it's a lifestyle. One of the shifts in my life is that, just wanting to do well in business so that I can be a blessing. And one of the things that I'm passionate about is I've sponsored 3 children in Tanzania through a program called Compassion International. And one of the things I love about that program is that you can go visit your child. And so in January, my son Peter and I went to Tanzania to go visit our little girl. And it was just, it was an amazing experience. And a couple of the reasons why I like reaching out on a global level is because when you reach out on a global level and you're actually in the midst of it, you realize it puts your own life into perspective. I have just learned to trust in the spiritual laws, and I've just found things are so much more prosperous. Like say money is like a seed. If you hoard your seed, eventually it goes rancid. If you sow your seed, if you sow your apple seeds, you have an apple orchard. So like by giving things away, it multiplies and it produces and it produces more. But it's like we all have that fear of like, giving, One thing I like about Pay It Forward Worldwide is that it gets people into a different mindset about giving. Like you can be a philanthropist on any level. Like to me, philanthropy is relative. Like it doesn't have, I used to in my mind, it was like, okay, I'm gonna be a philanthropist one day. Like one day I'm gonna have enough money where I can just, sit around and write checks or something. But it's like everyone can do it on a certain level. And with Pay It Forward Worldwide, it's like that money is not even gonna cost you anything. Like it's basically you're just reallocating the same dollars. So you're sowing those dollars into a charity that you're passionate about. The way it works is that any business that accepts credit cards can reallocate a portion of their processing fees to the charity of their choice. Because normally the way credit card processing works is that sales agents sell processing services. So they end up getting a residual every month. And so what I thought was, it would be nice if the charity could get that residual. So I thought of establishing a company where my agents are the charities. I felt like I had achieved everything that I wanted to achieve in my business, and celebrity clients, the business reputation. I have a beautiful house, I have beautiful children, I've got great friends. But when it boiled down to it, like at the end of the day, I was empty. So after Christmas stroll weekend, it was a really good stroll. This is in December of 2009. And I was standing in front of my computer at the store, and I went online to look at my bank account. And it was a couple weeks after stroll, and it was like all this money had gone out for my processing fees. And I was like, ugh, I hate that, because they never tell you when it's going to happen. It always seems like it's a lot of money. And at the same time, like the phone rang, and it was a charity of mine that I really, really love. And they said, we know you love our charity. We're, experiencing, lower giving than, normal. We really, would you be interested in making a donation? And I thought, what, why couldn't that commission go to this charity? And so I thought that would just make sense to me, just makes sense to me. I just think that giving back is just something that everybody can be doing on some level, no matter how big or how small. So.
Very cool.
Sailor's Valentine Gallery had a good run. It was open for 25 years. It was great. And I enjoyed it. And then it was time to move on and do something else. So not because I was bored with it, but because the market didn't support it anymore. And I wasn't willing to lower my standards. So I just said, well, that's it. It's a wrap. I'm moving on. Act 2, Scene 1. You can do surprising things. I mean, we can all do things. We probably all have done things already that we never dreamt we would, and we can do much more for sure. GrassRoots United is a brand new disaster relief organization that was conceived by 5 friends who had they all had individual experiences in disaster relief in different scenarios around the globe. And when the earthquake struck in Haiti, they all knew they were going down there. And this time, instead of signing up with 5 different organizations, they decided they would join together. They thought they had a unique perspective, understanding why disaster relief never works, and they thought they could fix it. You know, whether it's the richest country in the world where Katrina hit, or whether it's the poorest country in the world like Haiti, the same problems always arrive in disaster response. And the behavior patterns haven't changed since the 40s or even the 30s. The methods, the formulas, none of it has changed, and it just keeps failing. So GrassRoots United was formed to speak to these issues and to provide independent nonprofit organizations a platform by which they can communicate, share resources, and support each other in their missions. So that's basically what we do. The first time was March, April of last year, so it was soon after the quake. And it was pretty terrifying, I will say. I don't think I've ever been so terrified of anything. I've never been afraid of anything, but I was terrified. And it wasn't so much about that I was in fear of my life. I knew I would be with my son, and I knew he would take care of me, and it would all be good. But I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to cope. And never having had those kinds of experiences before, I had no measure of what kind of strength I had. Thank God I got through it. I discovered things about myself and how to cope that were very empowering, and I found that I could do what I had to do with ease and a certain amount of grace, I hope. It was seeing that level of poverty and death and illness and starvation is not easy, but witnessing the resilience of the people down there is so empowering. The Haitian people who survived the earthquake, who came out of a building or woke up and found hundreds of thousands of dead bodies, not hundreds of thousands, hundreds or thousands of dead bodies around them, realized that they were chosen and that they had a job to do. And everybody is so invested in the future of their brothers and sisters, meaning everybody in their community. Now that we have the foundations in place, we're feeding people, they have shelter, but now we're trying to rebuild their community and create jobs and so forth. So now is when we really need the support. Now is when we really need, everybody on Nantucket to go to our website and donate $5 or $10 or $20 every month and help kind of jumpstart a serious long-term sustainability in Haiti. So many people say, I want to volunteer, but I'm afraid I don't have any skills. I'm not a nurse. I'm not a carpenter. I can't. Well, any community needs every kind of skill, from being a baker to a dentist to a laborer, a midwife, a babysitter, a teacher, a special care, children with special needs teacher. So there are a million ways that you can go down there and find a fit, for sure. And there are a million other places you can go and find a fit and do something that's fulfilling. Today our needs are far greater, and it's far more difficult now to keep people interested and continue to raise the money we need to raise. So help!